Have you ever stopped to wonder what really separates people we call good from those who do truly terrible things? Is it something inside them, like a fundamental flaw, a bad apple?
Or, is it something else? Something about the situation, maybe. Something powerful that can, change people.
Exactly. It's a huge question. Today, we're really digging into a book that honestly shifted how a lot of people think about good and evil. Is Philip Zimbardo's The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil.
A really provocative title and a deeply influential book.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to unpack Zimbardo's main idea that situations and whole systems have this immense power, more power sometimes than our individual character. They can turn ordinary people, even, angels, into perpetrators of harm.
And he uses his famous, or maybe infamous, Stanford Prison Experiment to explore this. We'll look at that, definitely. And how those ideas connect to real-world events.
Right. But it's not all dark. Zimbardo also talks about the flip side, which is important. How ordinary people can actually resist these pressures, how they can even become heroes.
It's quite a journey, that book. And that title, The Lucifer Effect. It's deliberate, isn't it?
Yeah, he explains it. Lucifer, the light bearer, supposedly God's favorite angel, until he challenged authority and, fell.
So it mirrors that idea in the book that good isn't fixed. It can transform into evil under the right or maybe the wrong conditions.
So Zimbardo is pushing back against this idea that our personality is just stable, that we're the same person everywhere, what he calls the dispositional view.
Exactly. He argues pretty strongly that who we are can change dramatically depending on the context. Alone versus group, power versus powerless. These things matter a lot.
Which leads to his central metaphor, right? The bad barrel.
Yes, it's not always about bad apples, individuals who are inherently bad. More often, he argues, it's the bad barrel, the situation, the system that corrupts the apples inside.
That's a crucial distinction. He's not excusing bad behavior, is he?
No, not at all. He's very clear on that. Understanding the causes doesn't mean excusing the actions, but it helps us see why it happens and maybe how to prevent it. It shifts the focus from just blaming individuals to looking at the environment they're in.
Okay, so let's talk about the ultimate bad barrel he created. The Stanford Prison Experiment, or SPE. It's detailed so vividly in The Lucifer Effect.
It really is, and the origins are interesting. It actually started as like an undergrad class project on prison psychology. One of Zimbardo's students, David Jaffa, was leading it initially. He later became the mock prisons warden.
And Zimbardo got deeply involved. Taught a course, brought in consultants, even a former inmate to head the parole board for authenticity.
Right, and the core aim, Zimbardo says, was clear. Figure out what people bring into a prison situation versus what the situation brings out of them, their personality versus the environment's impact.
So they got student volunteers. Pretty average group, right?
Yeah.
Middle class, educated, normal and healthy was the description.
Yeah, basically interchangeable at the start. And they were randomly assigned guard or prisoner.
And the setting. That mock prison in the basement of a Stanford building in sunny California. That contrast itself says something.
It really does. It highlights how powerful a constructed reality can be, even in the most unlikely place.
And things got real fast. The arrests.
Oh, yeah. They used actual Palo Alto police officers. Surprise arrests at home, treating them like real suspects. Zimbardo writes about the confusion, the distress, parents upset, students trying to cooperate, thinking it was real.
That immediately blurred the lines between experiment and reality.
Absolutely. And then came the processing at the prison. Blindfolds, stripped naked, sprayed with some powder.
The delllousing.
Right. And the uniforms, smocks with numbers, no names, nylon stocking caps, rubber clogs, ankle chains, even at night. No underwear. All designed for humiliation, for deindividuation, stripping away who they were.
Making them feel like objects, not people. Numbers.
And Zimbardo observed how quickly the roles took hold. The guards, maybe a bit awkward at first, but they ramped up the authority fast. Reflecting sunglasses so you couldn't see their eyes.
Anonymity.
Exactly, calling themselves Mr. Correctional Officer. And those daily counts, they weren't just for counting heads.
No, they became power plays, didn't they?
Ah.
Demanding obedience, arbitrary stuff.
Yeah.
Push-ups, singing.
Absolute authority. And dehumanization kicked in hard, mocking prisoners, only using numbers. Zimbardo talks about this as a kind of cortical cataract.
What does he mean by that?
Like this mental blind spot. It literally stops you from seeing the other person as fully human, as someone who feels. And once that happens, cruelty becomes much easier. You're not hurting a person anymore in your mind.
Chill. And the prisoners, How did they react?
There was some early defiance. Prisoner 8612 shouted all power to the people, landed him in the hole, solitary confinement, then a rebellion, barricading doors.
But the guards adapted their tactics.
Oh yeah, divide and conquer. Gave privileges to one cell to break solidarity. But mostly the prisoners just deteriorated psychologically. Zimbardo describes profound distress.
Like the prisoner who started losing it, thinking his cap was still on.
Yeah, 8612 again, demanding to see Dr. Zimbardo. Not asking, demanding. Another became deeply depressed, feeling totally helpless.
And Zimbardo points out this crucial shift, right?
Right.
They stopped seeing it as an experiment that they could just leave.
Exactly. They felt genuinely trapped. They bought into the reality so much they believed only the parole board could release them, not their own choice to quit. That loss of agency is terrifying. It shows the situation's grip.
It wasn't just the students, though. The staff, Zimbardo himself.
He admits it freely in the book. He got sucked into his role as prison superintendent. He talks about identity confusion, losing his objectivity as a researcher, and sins of omission,
Right.
the harm caused by not acting, by letting the abuse escalate. He felt responsible for not stopping the humiliation sooner.
Even the ex-convict consultant.
Carlo Prescott. Yeah, he became this aggressive, demeaning parole board head, a stark example of how roles can transform people. Zimbardo calls it mind control.
So what stopped it? It only ran for 6 days out of a planned 2 weeks.
His girlfriend at the time, Christina Maslach, she came to visit, saw what was happening, and was horrified. She confronted Zimbardo directly.
She said what needed to be said.
Basically, yeah, that boys were suffering, that what he was doing was wrong. Her emotional outsider perspective broke through his role immersion. He terminated the experiment the next day. She was the hero in that situation.
Her intervention really highlights the ethical storm the experiment became.
Right.
Now, Zimbardo connects this directly to Abu Ghraib in the Lucifer Effect, doesn't he?
He does. Years later, he was asked to be an expert witness for Sergeant Ivan Ship-Frederick, one of the guards involved in the Abu Ghraib abuse scandal.
And Frederick's profile fit the bad barrel idea.
Perfectly, according to Zimbardo. Psychological tests showed no prior sadistic tendencies, described as morally upright, but also suffering extreme emotional exhaustion. Zimbardo argues the situation at Abu Ghraib was the primary driver.
And the conditions there were awful.
Horrific. Constant danger, mortar attacks, filth, overcrowding, heat, no reliable power, just a nightmare environment, a pressure cooker.
And Zimbardo's analysis, backed by official reports, didn't just blame the low-level soldiers.
No, he pointed higher up. Military leadership, civilian contractors, intelligence agencies, the CIA. He talks about ambiguous guidance from the top. Things like, use your imagination, break them, encouraging harsh tactics, dehumanizing prisoners, calling them dogs.
That's where he brings in the idea of administrative evil.
Right. How policies, maybe dressed up as necessary for national security, can actually enable or even mandate immoral, illegal acts. He connects Abu Ghraib to other historical examples, too.
Like Rwanda.
Yeah, the Hutu militia calling Tutsis cockroaches, or the ordinary German men in Reserve Police Battalion 101 who became mass killers, or even the 9/11 terrorists. Ordinary people, he argues, induced into extraordinary evil by powerful situations and systems.
So the SPE wasn't just some weird fluke. It tapped into deeper psychological principles.
Exactly. Zimbardo links it to classic social psychology, like Ash's conformity studies, how easily people conform to a group, even when the group is obviously wrong.
People denying what they see with their own eyes.
Yeah. Or Milgram's obedience studies, people giving what they thought were painful shocks just because an authority figure told them to.
That one's always disturbing. Especially knowing it was replicated even with puppies.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that people thought it was fake.
Right. And you see echoes in real life. Nurses following bad orders, those bizarre strip search hoaxes where someone pretending to be authority gets people to do degrading things over the phone. It shows the power of perceived authority, just like the SPE guards.
Zimbardo also talks about the evil of inaction, the bystander effect.
Yes. How having more people around can make each individual less likely to help in an emergency. Everyone assumes someone else will do it. Diffusion of responsibility.
He mentions that Good Samaritan study. Seminary students stepping over someone in need because they were late for a talk about the Good Samaritan.
The irony is thick, isn't it? But it shows how situational pressures, like being in a hurry, can override even deeply held values. It's another form of those sins of omission.
And we talked about dehumanization, seeing others as less than human, and deindividuation, losing your sense of self.
Yeah, anonymity, like the guards' sunglasses in the SPE. Or masks at Halloween kids take more candy when anonymous. Or the face paint some Abu Ghraib guards wore. When you feel unseen, unaccountable.
Ugh.
Inhibitions drop, sometimes leading to antisocial behavior.
Okay, so it's a pretty bleak picture of situational power. But Zimbardo does offer hope in the Lucifer Effect, right?
He does. He pivots towards the end talking about resistance. He says some people always resist these pressures, and it's not magic, not inherent goodness. It's about understanding the tactics, mental and social, of resistance.
He calls it the banality of heroism. What's that about?
It's the idea that heroism isn't just for extraordinary people. It's something potentially within all of us, an egalitarian attribute, he says. We're all heroes in waiting. It's about the choice we make when the moment comes.
He gives examples.
Lots of them. Christina Maslach, who stopped the SBE. Joe Darby, the whistleblower at Abu Ghraib, who released the photos, facing huge backlash initially.
Yeah, he was ostracized before being seen as a hero.
Right. Then people like Sharon Watkins at Enron, Colleen Rowley at the FBI. People who risked everything to expose wrongdoing. Even ordinary people, like a woman named Debbie, who escaped the Jonestown cult and helped others get out.
He also mentions figures like Hugh Thompson at Miley, Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., people who showed sustained courage against unjust systems.
Exactly. Civil heroism. So how do we resist? Zimbardo offers some strategies.
Like what?
Self-awareness is key. Mindfulness. Recognizing when situational forces might be affecting you. He also stresses finding supportive groups, people who share your values and will back your independence. Don't just go along with the crowd if it feels wrong.
Question authority, basically. Don't trade freedom for feeling secure.
Yes. And actively oppose unjust systems. He emphasizes that individual resistance, especially when joined with others, can make a difference. It's a call to be vigilant and proactive.
You get the sense the SBE really changed Zimbardo himself.
Oh, profoundly. He says so in the book. It shifted him from being a detached researcher to a social advocate. It led him to study burnout in helping professions how good people doing hard jobs can become callous if the system wears them down.
He also studied time perspective, how our view of past, present, future affects us, and changed his teaching.
Yeah, it became less about the teacher having all the power, more about empowering students. And he became a real advocate for prison reform, especially for juveniles. So the Lucifer Effect, the book, and the experiment behind it, they're more than just psychology history. They're enduring warnings.
Definitely. A powerful cautionary tale about how easily situations and systems can shape us, for better or worse.
Zimbardo really wanted to bring these psychological insights out of the lab and into public understanding, make them relevant to everyday life.
So the big takeaway seems to be that the line between good and evil is, well, pretty thin, more permeable than we like to think. Situations and systems have enormous sway.
They really do.
So thinking about that, what does this mean for you, listening right now, knowing we're all potentially susceptible to these forces? How can you get better at spotting them, at challenging them, resisting them in your own life?
And maybe more than that, how can you tap into that hero Zimbardo talks about, that potential inside all of us to make a conscious choice for good, even when it's hard, even when the pressure's on?
It's a challenge, for sure, but maybe also an opportunity, something to think about.